Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight. I see you broken and beat, hat pulled down over your eyes. Every part of you wants to surrender, but darling, you were meant to survive. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. Just like a seed in a garden, you will grow to be tall, staring out over miles of land without it, but wanting to build up walls. Lift me up in your branches, we can watch the sunrise. Just a couple of bruised up souls that believe that it was worth one more try. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart and spend less time in your head. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head.
Hi everyone. Hope you can hear me. Audio's going that way. Oh yeah, it's a bit. I've got it fading back because so it's kind of aimed at me. You get a lot of depth of field, I think they call it in professional circles. Right, so I've just come back from holiday, so I'm a bit demob happy still. If you don't know what that means, well, I'll probably look it up, but it just means I'm just settling into all the things that need doing. I realised I probably did need a holiday. But today, this it's going to be a usual. It's going to be a short version, and then ask me some questions, and I'll answer them as best that way. So let's do an update for the Kickstarter backers, because some of this is going to be Kickstarter and some of this is going to be Amiga. I'm not quite sure of timescales, but that's what it's going to be all about. Right, so update for the backers, update on manufacturing. Well, it's not much changed, I think, since the last time I updated. Everything except the chassis is in progress. It's being manufactured. I've even ordered today the panels, 1,000 panel, well, 1,100 panels, which is not all the panels because not everyone's paid, obviously, but I've ordered plenty to get this first batch done. So the panels are ordered, and the only thing outstanding, as I said, is the chassis. We've got the, as I mentioned before, the bezels had to have a new tool made. I've been through it for reasons why. I'm not going to go through it again. And so that's having a new tool. Oh God, it's expensive, but had to be done. We've got this thing with standoffs, height of standoff. Of all the complexities in this project, having a few problems at the moment with the height of these standoffs. I'm not going to go into detail, but basically it's probably a mixture of language conversions, etc., etc. So we're getting that sorted out. But during my holiday, I had to deal with this, issue in China. But no, that's going all right. Thank you for the people who've actually been sending in money for the to pay your balances by wires, which is basically a bank transfer, either UK, international, whatever. Those payments are really important. And now, as I said before, the amount we had originally actually was really good, so it enabled us to pay for everything. But the constant flow of money coming in with those payments is really helping. So if you're kind of on the fence and thinking, oh, maybe I'll hang on for credit cards, if there's a good reason, I get it. It's not an issue. But if you can pay by bank transfer, it's really useful, because one of the reasons for not ordering all the panels, because they're really expensive, is only 750 panels have actually been paid for, monitors, should we say. But I've ordered 1,100 because of the amount of money that's come in. So I've got enough money there I've ordered just to make sure we can make 1,000. We're having a first batch of 1,000 and then another 1,000. So if you get your money in, you're going to get into that first batch of 1,000, and that's the key thing, because it's going to be probably 6 weeks for the next lot. So there's another incentive for you to get onto that bandwagon. Now, for those that are not, and I understand totally, for those who are not able to pay by bank transfer, because I know it's instant money out your account, and I understand that, and I totally get it. Trust me, I understand it. So if you have to wait, fine, not a problem, because credit cards are coming, and they will be. We're pretty much got it set up. The software's not set up yet, but I'm going to roll that out in about 4 to 6 weeks, roughly. And everyone else it's just a free-for-all to get your place in the queue. All you people who paid by bank transfer your balance are laughing. If you'd already paid your balance by credit card and I refunded it, if you then come in and pay, you will already have your place in the queue. But of course, if you don't pay by the time it's time to ship yours, then you're not going to get it. And you'll have to wait until you're next in line, kind of thing. That's all. But so the people who did pay and had a refund have got a place in the queue, but that only counts if you've actually repaid your balance. Okay, so that's all coming. But apart from that, we're just in that kind of dead zone almost. Well, you think we're in a dead zone, but we're not, because so much is going on. And you've probably seen. Well, I've never seen this one. Wow, here you've seen this. So here's Appy's retro scaler, and on the top is the S-Video board. 90% of people are buying the scaler. Not so many buying the S-Video, but I would recommend you get it now. At the moment, there is some confusion on what to add. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Just add that board and that board. Makes the most sense. The S-Video is basically electronics from the one that I found and tested. It's good. Can't compete with your Tinks. Can't, right? But if you plug it in, most people won't notice the difference, really, to be fair. If you really have a good eye for this stuff, you will. But this is costing like 40 quid. The Tinks, well, up to £700 or dollars or whatever. So it's a different level of product. But this comes with S-Video and it comes with RF. Now, the whole point of this was just to be able to plug in the S-Video, not to compete with Tinks. That's a different market. But that there standing there is actually a fantastic add-on. And if you're really buying a monitor, you need to buy into this. To be clear, after the Kickstarter, it's probably unlikely you're going to be able to buy it without this. They're all going to come with it because it's daft, if not. I may later, but it's just easier for me to have a black one and a white one that's got all the plugs. So, yeah, you know all about that. What else? You probably haven't seen this and you probably won't care. This might be interesting to Michael. So yeah, what's this? This is the test board, and we basically plug any card that goes into the back planes. We can use these to test, and if we can't send someone a monitor, theoretically we can send them the card and plug it in. And Appy's just knocks his stuff out like no one's business, and so that's coming along. We've also, you can't really see it, I guess, on that monitor there, has got the Appy's spectrum analyzer, which is my initial thoughts on it was, really? Now I've got it, awesome. I mean, it doesn't really do a lot. It just basically it sits there. But whenever there's audio playing, you've got this spectrum analyzer at the bottom. Now, of course, it doubles up. And if you've got the scaler, it'll switch to the scaler or back to the spectrum analyzer if the scaler's not on. It does look really good. I really like it. I'm actually a big fan now. A lot of the stuff that Appy's been working on is sometimes really. Oh yeah, I get it. Brilliant. So that's good news. We've also working, some of you may know, I mentioned in the past, if any of you know what Pandora is, if you don't know what it is, then it's not going to interest you. But Pandora is basically, I'll show you. I am just so professional. I've got to lose some weight, haven't I? Pandora's one of these things. It's basically it's an emulated arcade game system, but sells at like 50-60 quid. Buy them from China. I'm not going to sell them. Don't ask me to, because some of the software on here is dubious. So I can't sell them, but what we can do is we're making a kit so you can fit this inside the unit and have all the games, and we're looking into, I don't go into too many details for obvious reasons. We're going into like controllers and stuff like that, so basically you can put one of these in fairly cheaply, turn it into an arcade machine, and it will just plug into a slot. So that's something I asked Appy to do for me a couple of weeks ago. You know what he's like, it's pretty much done. So that's all good news, and so that's something else I think for the monitor's going to be. I don't know, a big deal, but for people who know what they are and like this kind of thing, because it can play some pretty high-end 3D stuff, because they tend to have like an ARM chip and an ARM chip with a GPU on it, and so they're pretty good. And so you'd be able to put one of these units into it. But that's coming later. It won't be when it ships. It's a later product. No, I won't be selling the Pandoras unless we can do a version that's all official software on it. I can't get near that because I'd get crucified. So that's the basics. Just a bit of fun. But one of these, we use these. We use these little ESP nodes chips. They do one with a little LCD on it. I thought it would be quite good fun. Appy's already got it, putting logos on it. Christ knows what else. So God knows it might be something else coming from that. So yeah, no, all in all, it's good, but everything's happening, manufacturing side. So not much more I can say on that. Right, Amiga. So if you're not interested in Amiga in your Kickstarter backer, it's all done now. Thanks so much. Appreciate your support. I mean, if you want to hang around, you can. If you've got some questions, I will get to them. There's questions coming in, which is good. Oh, has that been half hour already? Don't worry about it. I haven't gone anywhere. Yeah, Amiga. So, some of you may have noticed that Pi Storm has got Wi-Fi. And I'm going to take credit for this. Now, I'm not normally one for blowing my own trumpet, right? I'm really not. But I think it's important that people understand. So, give me the story. a couple of years ago, I think it was a couple of years ago, I've worked with Michael Schultz for a long time in the past. He did some fantastic work on AOS drivers for me, and he's been a brilliant champion for AOS development. You know how good a developer he is. And every now and then I go and ask him a favour. Now, as I've always said, some developers are inspired. I've got to be careful how I put this because it might sound bad, but it's not meant to be. Some developers are inspired by giving them kit. Some developers are inspired by support. Some developers are inspired by just saying thanks for the work, which so many people forget. Really forget. Right? I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. Right? But there's two things. What happens is they don't want to put their hand in their pocket. And when they get it, they get what they want. They'll moan because it hasn't got something else that they didn't think they wanted, but they want it. So there's a little bit of that going on. Anyway, one of the things that for this project I've always wanted to do, if you know my history, go and read David Pleasance's first book. It's chapter on me in there, and you'll read all about a thing called PCI Amiga. Now, this is not a PCI Amiga, but I've always wanted to build my own Amiga system. And so with the monitor and the backplanes, I basically took a product that was originally, I can't remember the guy's name, it's terrible in here, but the Mist was developed a long time ago as an open source recreation of the Amiga chipset and CPU, right? And Minimig in Canada have been doing some great boards, but they're open sourced as well. So I asked again, Appy, will you make me a custom version that had our connector on the back? So he made this board. Now I'm not actually sure releasing this because there's that chip in the middle is actually quite hard to get, and this is a more budget friendly one. Let's put it that way. But it will run an ECS. Now I know a lot of Amiga fans will go, "Oh, only ECS. It's only got ECS." So the trouble with AGA, you need a much faster chip, a much more expensive chip, much more expensive RAM, and everything goes up for the roof. To me, AGA was always okay. I mean, if you look at the light, apparently the figures are, if you look at the Amiga games library, because I'm not a gamer, I don't really give a monkey, but at the games library, I think 95% are ECS and 5% are AGA. A lot of the more modern demos are obviously AGA. More demos though coming out for RTG. Now, RTG has always been a bigger thing to me than AGA, but for AGA, to me, it was always Scala or, I never used Deluxe Paint on 5. I used to use Brilliance, and that was absolutely amazing. But most of the stuff I did was RTG. So what this is my version of an Amiga. So this has got ECS, but as you probably know with the latest Minimig, it's got, well, not the latest actually, because that's stuck at 060, God knows why, but it's got the 68K socket on it. Now what that means is, as you probably spot, it's got a Pi Storm on it. I'm going to get to that in a minute, because this relates to Michael. But we've also put on it, so you've got a couple of game ports, you've got your PS2 keyboard and mouse, it's got the drive in there, we've got 2 MIDI ports on it, and it's also, you can switch it between MIDI and serial, okay? And everyone's going to say, well, what about power? What about this? What about that? So that's kind of what we've got on it, and I'm really pleased. Now, whether it will become a product, I don't know. We are slowly growing a waiting list of people. So if we do actually release it as a product, you can get the chips, then we will. But the key thing for me was this, that we've got we've got about 4 of these working. Maybe, I think we might have another one today. We should be 5, I think, if I got that right. And I tend to really, if you look behind me, that one there, that hasn't got Pi Storm. That's just got 68K on it. It's wonderful using that. Absolutely wonderful. It's got like it's only got 3.5 megs, 2 meg chip RAM, 1.5 meg of it's actually, I think, slow RAM, but And it's an Amiga with a hard disk. It's absolutely wonderful. But this one's a bit more exciting, right? So this has got Pi Storm on it. It's got RTG. It's got stupidly fast processing. Okay. Now, so if you're one of the people that go, actually, ECS is good because it's basically a supercharged 3000 that you'll plug in the monitor. That's why I call it Amiga. Okay. See the name down there. Amiga. It's a play on words. If you don't know what that's a play on, then it's a bit of a play on words. But this is my version, and this is the one I'm really pleased with, and it does everything I want an Amiga to do. And the only problem with it was no internet, because the Pi Storm amazing work they've done, right? Absolutely fantastic. And of course, it's just spectacular. Now, of course, now I'm just getting his name right. So Michael, obviously, with Emu 68K. Claude. It's Claude, isn't it? God, when I don't talk, my memory's getting really bad these days. So, Claude, with who's done the work on the Pi Storm, between them and others who've been involved, have done amazing work. But the one thing it lacked was Wi-Fi, and I've been talking to Michael about this for quite a long time. And because I want this product now, even if I don't sell it, right, I want it to have Wi-Fi, and I always have wanted to have Wi-Fi. Now, Michael's one of these people, and do not cherry pick my words, right? But Michael's one of these people. Is the incentive is always it's been, how do I put this the best way? Money is a good incentive, yeah. So at the last big Amiga show in Germany, I made him an offer, and I said, well, if you can get, I said, wait until I don't know when I can do this. So once the Kickstarter is successful and I know everything's okay, I made him an offer of €1,000 if he finishes it within a certain time scale, because I knew there's a lot of work. Now, as it turned out, he got a lot of it done, and so I extended the time scale, right? But I offered him because it's one thing saying, you know, fluffing people up and say, how about this? But sometimes, if you're a really good developer, no, don't get me wrong, that money is not a salary. It's not paying him what he's worth. It's not. But it does mean we've all got families. We can take our family, put it towards a holiday, that kind of thing. So whenever people say to me, and it has been mentioned in the past once or twice, oh, why don't you get people to do it? Well, I'll tell you what, stick your hand in your pocket, fund it, okay? Right? And then just a bit of an incentive. It might be just buy some hardware. It might be a little bit of money. It might be whatever it takes. And with Michael on this one, it was just, it's one of those, the Patreon, he's got patrons. He's not got enough. He deserves a lot more patrons. Because you lot really don't understand just how much work he has done. But he has done some amazing things, and this is one of the best things. He next to my graphics driver for AOS, but I'm biased. But this is one of the best things he's done. Now he's released the Wi-Fi. Now originally he said, "Do you want me to hold it up just for use?" No, not worried about that. But this thing with Wi-Fi is game changer. I've always known that, and so it was important that he had that extra little bit of encouragement that when he could finally get the information and do it, he's got this great incentive to get it done a bit quicker. Now, of course, everyone benefits. Now, this is not me being, don't really insist, but I back the Amiga all the time. Whenever I can afford to, I will. And this is one of those things where it was worth putting money up, because I get the benefit. I couldn't sell this without internet; it would be stupid. So there was there was an incentive. Now I'm not expecting to make the money back on this at all, but it is an incentive, and it's a great product to show the monitors. And give some extra push with that. But I think that now, having said that, I'll be chasing him to send me the invoice. I haven't paid it yet, so I'm actually paying it tomorrow. I did say to him, I want the invoice today so I could pay it. And I could say I paid it, but no, anyway, it's getting paid tomorrow. But so he's done the work. Now, there's an important point in. It's not a massive criticism. It's just an observation, okay? Because it's out, it's been put on Amikit. I do think it's a little bit early. I think it's a little bit early. I understand why Jan's done that. I do understand it, but I think he might have waited just a little bit. It might have been better to wait because I think people are gonna. It's gonna be buggy. I know what Michael's released it for, so people can do a lot more testing. I get that totally. I would have held off on a month on the Amikit. So, but I know that Jan will update everything, and as it goes along. So if you are buying Amikit, just bear in mind, treat it as development code. And if you are using the Wi-Fi, jump on Michael's Patreon, please. Yeah, become a patron, not a free one. Jump on Michael's, become a patron. Look at the cheapest option if you want. Join Patreon. Just get on there, put some money, because it does all make a difference. We've all got families, and it's nice to be able to have that little bit of spare cash. So, and he's done enough work on this, and on this, it's just amazing. So yeah, that's a little bit of a thing about that. So just for people to know, yes, I'm not going to say I funded it, but I made a contribution to the work and pushed it along a bit quicker. Now, what does this mean for the future? Well, because this is not the only board that's got it, obviously, and this probably won't sell more than 100, if that, because getting the chips now. But there's a lot of people using Pi Storms, and a lot of people getting a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that, that even the people who bought like for their 1200, 500, 2000, I'm hoping that, they could buy monitors. I mean, we sold lots of monitors, and we're probably going to sell an awful lot more. So I didn't mind investing, and I will continue to do this as I've got funds available. But I will put it strategically to things that are going to make a big difference, and that's always the way I try to work. I'm not going to back games. I know I don't care about games. I just don't. I mean, you would have seen a picture of my little boy. I took the monitor away, and we was playing Marble Madness, more or less the whole holiday when we was in the house. We was playing 2-player Marble Madness, and as you can see, he's completed it on his own, so he's absolutely over the moon. And it's been a lot of fun. So I do play games occasionally, but only with my kids to entertain. But yeah, so I think this will be special. I think most of the community will just go, it's not got AGA. And I know I've upset people by saying that, and then they say because its games are important. But to me, that is what the 3000 should be. There was something, someone put a poll out. If you had a choice in the 96, would you bought an Amiga 4000? There was another one on the list, I can't remember what it was. Or an Amiga 3000 with RTG. So I ticked Amiga 3000 with RTG. But I did put a comment that if I was doing it professionally, I would buy the 4000 with AGA and then be annoyed because I didn't have a 3000 with proper, deep, really good hardware in it. Because it's a much better machine than the 4000. It's just the fact that 4000's got AGA. Now, one thing that 4000 actually, with hindsight, I always hated IDE bus. With hindsight now, 30 years later, yeah, that was a good idea because everything can be converted to IDE. But AGA was never a big deal to me. So, but I know people want AGA, and I get that. And so, if you're desperate for AGA, no, you're not getting that. But the price will be, I'm selling this to be reasonable price. I've already said it. I'm trying to do it for about 250 quid. We'll see if it comes out. So if you're interested, email me. I'll bung you in the waiting list. Doesn't mean you're going to get one. If you see something else you want to buy it, because there's a lot of great products out there. Anyway, that's enough of that. Blowing my own trumpet. But let's see if we've got any questions or people moaning because I'm blowing my own trumpet. Hello, 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 hello. I'm waiting for the credit card. Okay, right. I'm waiting for the credit card or PayPal. Forget PayPal. Not doing PayPal. If you want to know why, I keep mentioning this, but if you want to know why PayPal will screw you over as a business, no interest in PayPal. You get the same protections with the credit card. If I go bust, you can claim against the credit card company, yeah? But people, I'm not saying everyone does this, but PayPal is a brilliant way of getting a product, saying it didn't arrive, get your money back, we lose. So, not interested. And plus the fact when it came to Kickstarter, and PayPal admitted this, it's absolutely admitted this, because I found out just before I was about to set them up. And I asked them, what if £250,000 hits it? What happened? He said, we'll keep hold of it. And they would keep it, hold of it, for a few months, quite a few months, until they found out if I was legitimate. And they told me point blank that was true. So, it's PayPal. Oh God, are we going on about the microphone again? There we go. Is that better? Now I can't see the screen. It's it's not the microphone, it's the world, man. Yeah. It's Fassy here. Fassy. It's not. Oh God, the German show's free. There is Kickstarter, and Appy's coming with Rita, so we might be out on the. You got to keep me awake this time, because last time I always fall asleep and go to bed early at the shows. Knackered. How was the holiday? Great. It rained nearly the whole week. We had 2 good days, but we did a lot of swimming because Alfie loves swimming. We went to a lot of soft play. We had a good time. But of course, Alfie's kind of got used to being at home. School holidays, was at home for 2 weeks and doesn't really want to go back to school tomorrow. So we go, off you go. So yeah. Are we still holding off for asking to modify orders? Well, actually now everything's now set in stone. So if you go on the site, I've actually modified the S video. So it will tell you if you've ordered a scaler and you order the S video, you're going to get the board. You'll get this version, that sits on top of Appy's scaler, and it'll include the RF module. If you don't order the scaler, you'll get the original metal box with a cable connecting and a mount frame. Now, luckily, there's only about 6 people who've done that. So I'll be trying to convince them to upgrade. But yeah, so if you do that, but most it's pretty much, it's all there. There's nothing really to worry about. There's nothing new coming now. There is, but later. So if you want to go on there and order it, then go ahead. If you've got any questions, just bung me an email. I'll answer them. I will try and do I've got, because people moan at me because I do these streams, they don't want to sit through it, and I get it. Look at this muppet. He couldn't even be bothered to shave. Yeah, so I get that. But so I'll try and, I have recently put a lot of the last 2 weeks ago, I put a written one up, which that went down quite well. But and answers questions and so on. But it's all pretty much the same. It's there. There's nothing really going to change now. It's that it is what it is now. So decide what you want. I recommend everyone buys a monitor, a scaler, and an S video board. Okay. And and the HDMI switch maybe, and the HDMI out if you want the adapter. So as I said, if you remember, everyone gets HDMI out. Everybody gets HDMI out because it's on the board. However, it won't necessarily work if you plug it into a monitor. It should be an external monitor should be fine. If you plug it into a capture card, it's going to be really hit and miss because a lot of them won't support 1280 by 1024, which is what is output. Yeah, it's not outputting PAL, it's outputting the panel's resolution 1280 by 1024, 60, 50 hertz. So, but if you audio HDMI out now, basically what you're paying for is this. Yeah? Is that upside down? There you go. You're basically paying for that and contributing towards the cost of everyone getting the HDMI, to be honest. But this is, I think it's got a good value. I mean, I think it was 30 quid, the output, and it's worth it for this. If you're a streamer, you'd be stupid not to buy this. I don't know even if we're going to sell it separately. We probably will, but probably for 45, 50 quid or something like that. But yeah, so if you do add that, it's probably worth your while to do that. Just see what you know. But go on in now. But if you, as I said, if everyone who pays by bank transfer, they're going to get a free manual. I'm going to run a batch of manuals, probably in this first batch. After that, probably won't do them anymore. I don't know if I'm going to print them long term. I did talk about doing a copy later on, which I might do, but it'll be double the price of what it costs. But it's at the moment it's a case of it's a thank you for people who paid early, because the people who paid by the bank transfers, I'm not kidding, saved this project. Right now, I'm not saying it would have gone belly up. It would have been a real problem, and I would have had to get another credit card system online quicker. But of course, then we could fall into the same trap, which I didn't want to do. And so they actually saved the project, and hence the thank you. Yeah, all that for one question. I don't have time to watch your long videos. I had paid already, but then you had sent money back. How am I supposed to pay now? Would appreciate if you could send an email. Can't I send it an email? I've already done instructions. If you go to the... Right, I've done it. I even redid it. I did an update. I think it's 3 or 4 updates ago. I did an update on this, and I just basically put a link to the original information, and there's a click on the link. If you go, I think you go back, it says instructions, and then there's a link, and it takes you to another one that was posted about 5 months ago. Just click on that, go in there and have a look at that, and it's got all the instructions, and it was written by Phil. Phil basically took my instructions and made them sound like English, right? And so it's fairly straightforward how to do it, and the instructions are there. So do the Checkmate branded monitors bags get made to order by the vendor? Any issues with orders? Okay, yeah, that's good. That is a good question. So this is a batch we're going to get made. Going forward, they're actually a pain in the butt because they're very big. I'm actually wishing I hadn't done that. I'm kind of wishing I hadn't done it, because it's going to mean a big box. I have allowed for it in the shipping package size, but it's quite an expensive thing to ship it. If you're UK, Europe, whatever, I hardly notice it. If you're like in America, Australia, something like that, it's getting very expensive. So I don't know going forward. It's not meant to make you buy it now, because I'd prefer if you didn't. But they're there, and I'll probably once, because we've got this interest in distribution around the world, so we'll probably end up making a load and shipping them out, and then be delivered locally. But for now, it does add quite a bit to ship in, so just bear that in mind. Yeah, there you go. It answers Pete's question, doesn't it? So what items do we need to have already on the orders to get Appy's Retro Scaler Board? You need Appy's Retro Scaler Board. I didn't make it as standard because I put the backplane as standard. You have to physically delete the backplane, and if you physically delete the backplane, God help you, because that's really important, because everything plugs into it. And I always said from the beginning it'll be an extra, and it's actually peanuts. So for what you're getting, But yeah, you just order Appy's Retro Scaler. I would recommend. You don't have to. You don't. If you're never going to need RF and S video, you don't need to order that. The S video board. But it's a good thing to have. I mean, this is doing so much. You know, you really do. It's best to get the whole lot because, as I said, going forward after the Kickstarter, I'll probably ship one version with everything in it and one spare slot at the top that you can plug a computer in or something. I would also pay now by bank. If only someone would send me clear instructions how to do so. Don't want to reverse engineer. Yes, again, I repeat it. Just go and look at the updates. Go back about 3 stories. There's a link. It says instructions. Press on it. Open it up. It's there. I love all the cards, but when do we have the money? Right. Well, the clue is the manufacturing is started. The only thing outstanding is the tool, which is almost finished. That's the new front bezel. We had to do a complete new one. Once that's done, then the chassis manufacturing starts, and once that starts, then it goes into assembly, and everything else is going to be ready. This is why I paid for everything to be made. And everyone's under instructions. Once you made them all, hold them, and then ship just in time. But I'm not quoting time, but I'll let you work that out. I'll give you a clue. Manufacturing is about 30 to 45 days. The chassis is going to take about a month. Should be signed off in a couple of weeks. Another month after that, a month to assemble, and then it's on a boat. And then once it's on the boat, then it's here, and then we should be able to ship them really quick, actually, because theoretically what I'm doing is final double checking to make sure they're okay. I'm only putting in the extra bits that people want and then put them in a box and shipping. So that shouldn't take too long. But that is where we're at. I can't quote a time, because if I quote a time, I might be wrong, and then I look an idiot, and I'm sick of. I just don't, it is what it is. Trust me, I want to get them out. I'm sick of it. I want to ship them. I really do. I want to ship all the monitors and then have a rest. Have a rest for a while. And then start, thinking about the next batches and so on, because it's I may not ever do another project like this, because I'm getting old, right? I don't know. It's a big thing. People don't understand quite, I think some people think you just go make it so. It's not quite like that. And it's there's a lot of juggling, right? A lot of juggling. Which bit do we want? Which bits were? And then it's a case of little things, like. Well, there's no point going in. I might go into it another time. But just thank God I've been working with some great people. To be fair, I've fluffed up Appy enough. But especially some of the people in China have been absolutely fantastic, and they've been. You have to be very specific. I've got a few tips I could probably share, but yeah. I've done that. Yes, in Alpha. I think all the info is shown if you log in. Yeah, okay. The monitor is the important. Yes, absolutely. I want my OLED to say. Well, first of all, it's not an OLED. I don't know what you put OLED for, because there's no OLED. Right. Yeah, the little OLED. The little diddy one that goes on the front. Yeah, okay. Please don't tell Appy that. I told him no. Mini-Me was started by Dennis Van Weeren. Thank you. Yeah, because that, that's an amazing job. Recreating the chipset. Put my teeth back in, put my glue in properly. Oh God, I'm waffling, aren't I? Don't worry, I ain't gone anywhere. That was an amazing piece of work with the, and it's ECS, but I know there's AGA available now. But that's just a stunning piece of work. And I think what Ranko has done with, I don't know his actual name, I only know Ranko, but I think what he did with the mini-migs were always good, but yeah, not really for me. But the latest one where he put the 68K socket on it, and that was a game changer. So I've always personally thought you need the CPU to be separate from the chipset. So you need to put the chipset, just the chipset, on the FPGA, and then leave other stuff to handle everything else. And I think having that there has meant that you can just put a CPU, 68 CPU. I mean, Appy's got some of these. I know people have actually mentioned, can we have one? I don't know whether we will or not. But we make these little things, which are awesome, right? I don't know if it's like the right way, but so they're basically just 68K, but on a chip that'll plug in. So you can just plug one of those in, and these are just 68Ks. Or if you're lucky enough, like I am, and I've actually got I've even got a nice ceramic one. So you can put that in, and it really is. It just reminds you just how good the machine was, right? Or you can go to town and you can put like a vampire in it. I mean, everyone knows my opinion on vampires. Look, the only problem I have with vampires is a bit expensive. I've got two. I've got one in the 2000 and one in my 1000 down here, and I absolutely love it. My 1000's been vampired. I wouldn't put anything else in it. I just think the vampire is wonderful, but the new one's just got a bit expensive for my liking, and that seems to be going on with all the retro stuff. But having that 68K, get back to the point, having a 68K means you can do all kinds of things, like stick a Pi on it to emulate the 68K and give you RTG and now Wi-Fi. So basically the ultimate upgrade. And people say, oh, well, it's not a real 68K. Who cares? Seriously, who cares? The chipset's important. It's very important to have the chipset, right? Because that is the heart of the Amiga. The 68K isn't. Because we went 68K, 6810, 6820, 30, 40, 60. It doesn't, and now 80. Made up name. But we've gone up, we've gone there, and that, so the CPU just doesn't really matter, because anyone who says, oh, well, it's not compatible. 6860 never ran very well. It needed support software to make it work reliably with, well, let's call it old software and games that didn't support the system. It's always been an issue. Whereas teams like the Vampire team, they've managed to give you the 6880 or whatever you want to call it, and also put in all the fixes so that it'll be compatible. And that happened in the Pi. So the Pi Storm's good, and having these little Pi chips to supercharge everything. Now, I'm a big believer in the chipset should be an FPGA, okay? That's just me. I'm quite happy with FPGA, because trust me, if they were still making Amigas, they'd be using FPGA. So I'm more than happy with that. But to stick a 35 pound part, well, it's not even 35 pound. It's 25 pound. And it's really fast. I know everyone's, because this is a Pi 3. And a lot of people out there, specification change, or sysinfo fans, count me as one of them, but sysinfo fans will be going, oh, but can you put a Pi 4 in it? Because we really need the performance of a Pi 4. Why? That's really fast. Because all he's really doing is running the Amiga, the 68K emulation. It's not emulating the chipset. It's just emulating the 68K. So it's monster. And you get RTG, and now you get Wi-Fi. So that's a great little board. As for the future, I think Pi Storm's going to be the one. I mean, hopefully it might reduce the price of the Vampire, because that's ever been my criticism with the Vampire. The work they've done is amazing. If you ever saw my video on the subject, I did quite a long video about it, and I was glowing about the V2s. But yeah, I think right now, the big dog in town is Michael Schultz and the EMU68 and Pi Storm. So hence me wanting to contribute to get the Wi-Fi complete, because that's the well, it's not the final bit, because there's another bit coming, but that's the main bit, to get that bit done. But yeah, there you go. Is it next questions? Mini me will start by hi or Paul Kitchen. Paul. Can I use a SCART with the monitor without buying extra cards? No. Right. Okay. So SCART is part. It's part of the scaler. Yeah. SCART is one of the sockets. You can't have a SCART socket without the scaler, because it's the scaler that's making the SCART work which is technically a VGA, which is not, in a modern monitor. Okay, that's the only way it works. So you need the board. I'm sure you could probably go out and buy another one and plug it into the HDMI or something like that, and that'll work. But it costs the same. Might as well get the one that comes with it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Everything's on the form that you need. It always amazes me when you do the order and you get it. There's a bloody great big chapter. There's all the information you need, and people say, "Well, how do I pay it?" And it's it tells you your number. It's all there. I understand people have got busy lives. I understand, but yeah, I've got so much else to do. I already placed my order and paid a while back. Select my well, I can't use all at the same time, such as Pi and missed amounts. Will that cause shipping issues? I select model add-ons, which I know I can't use at the same time. Okay, technically, if you haven't got a scaler board, I'm not saying don't buy it, but if you haven't got a scaler, you could put a Pi and a mister in. But what you do need is you need the internal. You need the HDMI switcher for £19, which adds 5 HDMIs. There's 3 extra HDMIs at the back and 2 internal instead of 1 internal, and you can just switch between the two, the Pi and the Mister. But it means you won't be able to put don't ask us to put it on the same pod, because the Mister's really big. There's no room for that. But yeah, you could put both in there. SCART should be on Appy's retro scaler. Yes, it is. How do I buy the retro scaler? You add it. It's in the list. Appy's retro scaler. It's an option. I already paid for my order. We'll try to add it. Okay. If you add in bits, if you've already paid your main order and you want to add bits, it's almost worth waiting till the credit cards come online. I know a lot of people are absolutely wonderful, and they're paying for the extras now. But the main order is the most important, because it's the panel. It's the panel and you shipping and that kind of stuff. We need to get that in, so we're ready. The extras, I'm ordering lots of extras. So does that board also have the input switcher? I'm assuming you mean HDMI switcher. So basically, ignore the message. This one was faulty. When it wasn't faulty, they just bloody set it permanent to auto switch, which was annoying. But this is if you ignore that, because that's why it's out. You can see there's two internal HDMIs and 3 external HDMIs, and that obviously inputs. On the main board, if you look in there, there's a connector there. So if you don't get this, you still get that 1 internal HDMI, so you can plug into that. So if you don't want it, but for 20 quid, I think it was 20 quid, 19, something like that, you're better off just getting it. Image 60, and there's Wi-Fi partly working there. I hate that when that happens. Michael Schultz is developing Image 68 now as Wi-Fi partly working. I think I've commented on the Wi-Fi. Yeah, I think we jumped the gun at the moment. It only supports unencrypted network. The Big D, the A3000 should have had AGA. Wasn't available then. Come on. Now, if you knew anything, you'd know that there was a thing called the A3000 Plus. 3500, I think it might have been called, something like that. And I actually saw one, and that had it. It was a prototype for the 4000 that was going around. I actually saw one of them many years ago, and was really impressed with it. But yeah, so the 3000 couldn't have AJ because it didn't exist. But it did have RTGs, people, not by Commodore. The stupidest thing that Commodore ever did was not following on the back of a lot of great developers and building an official RTG, Commodore RTG system, even if they bought one of them, did a deal or whatever. Picasso 96 drivers obviously became the default, but there was also Cybervision, and there was an EGA had their own system as well. That would have been more important, because for the professional users, they want that. They want high resolution displays. They don't want chipsets solely tied into video timing. They wanted more, and that was the failing of the 3000. Well, it wasn't a failing because it came along, but I just think, and a DSP. Anything else you want? Teas made, coffee maker. Right. Can A1200B Vision and PPC fit in the Checkmate case? No, it's easy. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'm thinking monitor. Can it fit inside? Yes. I've had. Not many people have got that set up, but I've had a couple of people who've told me built it and fit it fine, and I had another person said it won't fit, it just won't go in. But they don't understand. Take the board out, plug the boards into the machine, drop it in. If you try, you can't put it in after because it's too close to the end, right? But from my understanding, and I've actually seen one with it built because I helped the guy build it. It does fit in. It's really tight, but it does fit. And ECS was a lot less than they had planned. ECS was fine. It got a bit long in the tooth, not long after the 3000, but the fact was that with the 3000 had a flicker fixer built in, so it stabilized the display. So most people, they were quite happy with that kind of 640 480 resolution, which is VGA or VGA. So they were quite happy to have that kind of resolution, and they were having that display and graphics flicker fixed. And that was one of the disappointments with the 4000, was they didn't include that, didn't include SCSI. So that was disappointment. They basically made a cheaper machine and sold it for more because it had AGA, which is 2 more bit planes. And it's true, it's only 2 more bit planes. You did a lot with 2 more bit planes, don't get me wrong. 256 colours is nice. But for me, the only thing it was good for was Scala. Scala was really good, and obviously with the toaster. Games, I don't really care. I mean, 32 colour games, if they're done well, look really amazing. If they were clever, they could use 64 colours. So they're, but 256, yeah, it's nice, but no big deal. Yes, I will ping you about Kickstarter. 02. Is Darius coming? He's American, isn't he? How can I erase a decrypted file without code? I think you've come on the wrong channel. I have no idea what that means. What is the likelihood that Appy's Retroscaler will support MDA Hercules in the future? Okay, so me and Appy have talked about this. It's a bit more complicated. It won't probably... Now Appy's going to be jumping up and down, biting his lip, but I don't think we'll be able to do it with the standard board. I could be proved wrong. Part of the problem is we didn't have any hardware to test. Yeah, we didn't actually have any hardware. I bought a lot of stuff, and I bought him bits, and so we bought gear to test, but we didn't manage, or they were going to be so expensive, and we'd have to spend a fortune getting a machine to one. So that could be something that come later. But we've already discussed about the potential of having a plug-in card, slapping another card, and give it for people who want that, because we want these things like the silicon graphics machines supporting them, you know. So that's fallen into that category of later. I want to add the S video and have already paid. So how do I add it? Again, it's up to you. I would hang on to the credit cards. Personally, I'm gonna have loads of S video boards. Right, I've ordered 1,000, and only 300 I think have sold. So I'm gonna have loads. So don't even worry about it, and just add it on with a credit card later on. It'll be easier. I'll turn up. There'll be no shipping charge. Right, so just when you got the credit cards, just do it then. I ordered scale. I didn't originally order this video, so you made it. Yeah, okay, same thing, same question again. If that's all you want, just wait till the credit cards, because what we'll do is we'll turn off. I can't turn off shipping for everything, but anything that goes inside that monitor, no extra shipping charge. But someone said, can I have, I want another monitor, can I add that and remove the shipping? No, because it's twice the size. It costs twice as much to ship. That's just the way it is. Same question. Yeah, I've already answered that. Paid for shipping via bank check. How do I add the RF module and HDMI switch? Again, it's the same thing. The RF module is not standalone. You need to order. Well, if you've got the scaler, order the S video board, and it comes with the RS, and we just stick it on top. Yeah. So there isn't going to be. I know I showed a little RF board. I'm not doing a separate one for that because it was really complicated and it's not worth it. By the time I've made a frame for it and cables and everything, it's going to cost the same as adding the S video board. So you know, just get the scaler and add the S video. But if you've already paid, just do it later on by credit card. What is the ATA point of monitors? I've already said this. You know, it's going to be this year, but I can't quite a time. What I will say is, when it's on the boat, I'll let everyone know because it's 6 weeks. Yeah. What about customs delays potentially? Shouldn't be any customs delays. I've never had them before. I've had COVID delays, which I didn't think I would have, and I got everything to the port and went, look at me, look, I've got it there, it's on the boat, and then it was held up for 3 weeks. Yeah, Darius is spot on. How do I get rid of this stupid message? Why is that there? I don't want that there. Oh God, it's stupid. Browse page. Why has it done that? It's over this chat. It's opened up a great big block, and I can't. Right, the monitor's far more complex. Right. Oh, don't do that to me. I've got to report someone. Sorry. It's opened up a menu and I can't get rid of it. Here we go. Right. Customs delays. I've answered. This monitor's far more complex. Yes. Are you thinking about doing another case? Always, yeah, absolutely. Am I going to do it? I don't know. The 68 chip costs less than $1. Putting on FPGA does make sense if you have a large FPGA, but having a physical 68K means, yeah. At 68K, yeah, it's about right. They're quite cheap. They're not very expensive. We paid more for them because I think we bought 5. But even then, I think it was 5 for 20 quid or something. You only need a Pi 3. Technically, a Pi 4 is not. Pi 4 does, I believe, technically work, but the CM4 does. But I don't think it's fully supported like the 3. The 3 is really well supported, and it's the default. And people say, "Oh, I need a faster one," but the thing is, it's doing really, apart from RTG and now Wi-Fi, it's really just emulating the CPU. It's not having to do the chipset, so it's actually faster just because of that. So yeah, I mean, I think the 3 years, and it only costs 25 quid. You know what I mean? It's cheaper than the FPGA. What software do you think benefits most from Pi Storm? Anything. All system-friendly software just gets to kick up their backside. Our demos, games. I mean, I know there was in the past there were some issues with some games not working as well. But I think that's been resolved. I've not had any problems. I did have a problem with Spaceballs, one of the demos, but that seems to be okay now. So I'm just assuming it's all good. How well does the monitor work with vintage Macintoshes? We don't use Sync on Green, so that's not that we can't. Oh, actually, that might be one for Appy because I'd let Appy answer that one if Appy's around, which he should be. I don't think we support it. I know we got it in the pipe planning to do it, but I might be wrong. Yeah, send me an email. I'll ask Appy because I can't remember. We had a discussion about this. I don't think we support it, but I could be wrong. But I think I'm right. Got most of the bits ordered and paid for already. Just waiting for the go from you to do adding the HDMI switch. I think you mentioned to wait until wait for the credit cards. If you've paid your balance, your panel option and the main parts and your shipping. If you've done that and you just want to add a couple of extras, feel free to wait for the credit cards. Okay. I meant the Pi Storm and native output switcher. Oh, that one. Yes. Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons we're waiting. One of the things. Happy's already put the... partially done the work for the clock. There's a clock frequency he needs to give the board. And so we're looking to put Claude's new camera. It's a camera thing for the Amiga's video. To put that on there to use with the camera to go for the HDMI. So I won't ship without it. I'm not in a rush. So that is planned to be added. It's going to make it a bit more expensive maybe, but not hopefully not too much. But we are working towards that if he does that. Does the Amiga make the Checkmate 4K team more of a possibility, or is the big hold back always the name? Right, I got it. I'm with you now. To be honest, this has taken quite a lot out of me. I don't feel sorry for me, right? But it's taken a bit out. But I've enjoyed it, and it's going to enable things. But I'm going to need a bit of a breather after this. But the reality is that I'm getting older, right? And so I'm probably going to spend the next 2 or 3 years trying to sell lots of monitors and then possibly handing it over. If it's really successful, I think it's going to be successful. I'm confident of that. But if it's really successful, then maybe hand it over to someone. Because I have mentioned in the past that I'd like to design a new tower. Now, in the modern world, it makes no sense. You're not going to sell that many, and it would be expensive to make. It'll be a boutique thing. But the name is always an issue. But I would like to do one because I've had the original 4000 tower, and it was okay. It was a bit cheap and tacky. Right, I know a lot of people are going to get the ump, but the first one wasn't too bad actually. Well, no, actually it wasn't. Commodore never really. I mean, the 3000 was beautiful, but if you opened it up and looked inside, sharp edges, it was. I don't know. It's just but with the 4000T, everyone goes ooh, and it was a nice tower. Don't get me wrong. But that plastic see-through glass in the front and the whole, it would bend and wobble and it wasn't that good. It did look from a distance. It does look good in the photos and everything like that. But one little thing I would do instantly was put smoked tempered glass on the front. It would look amazing, you know. So it's something I like to do, but it would be as I said, a boutique thing. Most people go, no, I'm not paying that. Annabelle the Happy Corner. Hi, I ordered a Amiga V2 off the shop. Amiga. Right, Sarah. There is. I have no idea what you're talking about. Amiga V2. So, you probably got the name wrong, or the wrong company, or I don't know. That could be the spam bot. That's all. You think you know people and then they rip you off. Such is life. Just this is what I said. Oh, hang on. The AVOS machine. I haven't got any AVOS machines outstanding. If you're talking about the AVOS machine, email me tomorrow and send me the order number. Okay, so if you're talking about that, because I don't remember calling it the Amiga V2, but yes, it might. I thought I'd shipped them all. Honestly, I thought I shipped them all. In fact, go online, give me your order number, because it might have got hidden in with all the monitors. And you've never contacted me about this, to be fair. If you've not received it, you need to contact me, because I don't remember. I've got nothing in my list that's saying that it's out of date. All I've got is monitor stuff. So, to my knowledge, everything's been shipped. If it's, send me the order number, and then I can chase it up. All right, seriously, because I thought they were all shipped. Because I've only sold 4. I'm going to do a search. Let me look, because I've got nothing outstanding as far as I can tell. But as I said, it might have got lost, because there's a lot of. I've got some code that checks. Todd Chamberlain, Mark Chamberlain. How do you spell your surname? CHAMBERLAIN. No. I can't find it. Give me the order number. Put the order number in the box, or leave it, because if you put the order number in the message box, I'll have a look, and if it's there, I'll do your deal. If it's there and I haven't shipped it and it's like over 6 months, I'll refund your money. Because it's got lost. It's got lost. Now, I don't think I've got anything outstanding like that, but I've got nothing under your name here. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, because you might have ordered. I've had it where people have ordered it in separate names. No, I've got no Sarah. Come on, Sarah. Give me the order number. That's all you got to do. Give me the order number, and then, as I said, put it in there. because I've technically got nothing outstanding. I've got nothing outstanding. Well, give it, Sarah. I'm not just put it in the message box. I'll look, and then we'll see. But I don't remember. I actually don't remember your name. I don't remember receiving emails. Feel free to send me the dates of when you sent me the emails, and I'll have a look. But you know, and I'll stand by this. If I haven't shipped it and it's been locked and it had, I'll refund your money. Because I'm not really bothered. I honestly don't think I've got any outstanding. So, but if I'm wrong, well, that's not an order number, for one thing. Because the order number is 4 digits. So can I have a 4-digit number, please? And it doesn't start with A, and it. Come on, I'm still waiting. It's a 4-digit order number. And you should have an invoice number as well. But just give me the 4-digit order number, and then I can have a look while you're waiting. Right, okay, that's better. Let me see. I don't think that exists. No, I haven't got up to 8,000. My maximum order numbers are 7,000. Gonna have to do better than that. Come on. I just want the order number. My maximum order number goes up to about 7,000. It doesn't reach 8,000. Right, let's try that one. 4, 8, 5, 2. Nope, that's. You're making these numbers up. Is that an order number or is that an invoice number? If it's an invoice number, view invoice. Let me see if that's an invoice number you've given me instead of an order number. 4, 8. Order number. I'd be better if I had the order number. Just type in random numbers. Well, I don't mind. Look, I don't mind me putting a spot. Just I've got to find it, but I can't. I've sold 3 or 4 of the AWOS systems, and I think they've all gone. I've got loads of boards, right? But you know, I don't actually. I can't find your name in the system. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. I was going to call it a day, but I'm not going to now. I'm just going to go see if I can find this because it's got me wondering now. Invoice. Right, let me try it. If that number doesn't exist, 4852. No, doesn't exist. You're making up numbers. So unless you've got an actual number of an order, you know, I could try maybe see if I can get. I'm not going to say any more on it. I think, because look, if you've got an order, trust me, and you've been waiting a long time for it, I will refund your money and send it to you. Okay, it's not a problem. But I can't find it, and I can't see the system. But they can be hidden, and so they're hidden because I've got a couple of thousand of monitor orders, and my thing for hiding the monitor orders occasionally hides other things. It's happened a couple of times. So if it's been hidden, then give me the order number or the invoice number and I'll find it. And if it's there, because those numbers you gave me do nothing, brings up nothing. So I know those numbers you're giving me is wrong, which makes me think, well, you know, but come on. None of them numbers are any good. But I think, as Marco said, int random 969999. I'll stick with that, just so everyone else knows. I'm not hiding anything. If she's absolutely right, she's just typing the wrong numbers in, I will refund the money. Because to be honest, the last order I had for one of them was months ago, a long time ago, and so they should have had it. It probably is, but there you go. Anyway, I'll come to the end. I'm just about done actually. I've got, unless there's any more questions apart from where's my Amiga V2, because that's what's got me. She's got that bit right, because it was an AROS machine. And so if she's ordered it, then I owe it, and I will apologise, obviously, but I can't find it based on the details she's given me during it. My order worked like a charm now, Dragon Boss. Yep. So yes, send me an email, because again, I don't remember your name, but send me an email. I'll chase it, and I'll stick up for it. There you read my reply. Oh, what's your reply, Happy? What are you doing now? Have you been putting something you shouldn't be? Let me just see if Happy's been inappropriate. I can't see you. Anyway, I've been put on the spot. I don't know if it's true, but you know. Oh, hang on. No, he's put it privately. That's why he's put it Messenger, hasn't he? Oh, okay. No, he's not. I'm gonna go because it's getting late. It's 9:20, and so I'll do another one of these in a couple of weeks' time, and then we will see what happens, and updates and so on. And I'll let you. Obviously, I'll let you know as we go on with the panels and the monitors. But as I said, everything's ordered. The only thing that's not ordered is the chassis. We're just waiting for tooling. So once that's done, then we can get the things actually assembled and put on a boat, and then we can ship them. Because the sooner I ship them, the better. Because I've got a list of nearly 700 people on the waiting list, as well as nearly 2,000 monitors for the Kickstarter. So. It's a lot to do. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us. Maybe hear from Sarah soon. And again, if I'm wrong, I'll correct it. Don't worry. I'm only human. Well, you know. Yeah, the 4000T. Yeah. It's one of those things, because that was the 4000T is one of those things that, why did I do that? I threw it out, and you have to understand the context of where my head was at that time. But I threw out a 4000 tower, literally. So yeah, it's kind of. I kept my 1000 though. Kept the important one. Live customer support. I don't think it was so much support, but you could have seen me. You heard it all here. If she turns up with the details and she's right, and because I'm not going to say she's wrong, because I don't know, but none of the numbers she's given me were real. So, but if she does, then she's going to get a very heartfelt apology and a refund. Maybe not the shipping, but get the actual unit itself, because I've got them all sitting in there. And I'll send it out, but I'm pretty sure I shipped them all. But no, leave her alone, Happy, because it might be true. It's unlikely, but you'd think she'd know order number, and I think they're gone now. But that was entertaining, wasn't it? That was entertaining. Right. Thank Thanks so much, guys. I've enjoyed, especially that bit, because I like all this stuff. Like when I go to shows and you get a young German come up to me, I'm not buying your monitor, it's garbage. Why? Read about that one in the manual. I'll speak to you probably in a couple of weeks. But thanks for all the questions, even Sarah's. And her sidekick. I think she had a sidekick. But yeah. Thanks so much, guys. I'm going to go now because my wife's going to think I've left country. All right. Speak to you later. How do I stop all this? Where is it? Where's it gone? It's over here. There it is. Any more questions? Take care. Thanks for the update. Really, you put anecdotes like that in the manual. Yes, I did. Because and let me explain that, right? It is in the manual, and I'm not having a go at the guy, right? The irony of it is quite funny. He had it's explained that because right in this is quite important because with this monitor we have kind of goals that we can't reach yet, right? Let's be realistic about this. But we've got a lot of goals that we can reach now, which 90 to 95% of people are going to be happy with, okay? There's always that 5-10%, and there's always the 1%, right? But this guy was one of the 0.1%, and it was a certain feature that the monitor lacks, which is, I forgot what it's called. It's the panel, the technology. It was impossible with IPS. What's it called? I forgot what Strobe backlighting, which basically means that it would display for a frame for a 60th of a second, no, 120th of a second, blanket, and then again, blanket, and then again, blanket, and it would do that. So it obviously needed 120 hertz display. Now OLEDs can do this. The idea is that if you've got something that's moving across the screen, it does cause. In fact, it's what Apple are getting not in trouble, but it's been pointed out on the Apple Vision persistence of view. So it's staying there too long. Whereas CRTs you would display and then go display and go, right? They naturally had this, everything looked really smooth. Yeah. Panels cannot do the same thing. So the idea is you have backlight strobing that we turn it off and then on, then off, then on, then off, then on, and so you don't see stuff draw. You know, it doesn't. It's really hard to see, and he had to show it to me. I'm like, but once you see it, as I put in the manual, once you see it, you don't unsee it. Will it affect most people? No, no one will give a monkey unless they go, oh God, yeah, because it's one of those things. Yeah, and it was fascinating because but I said to him at the time, it's new to me, but I'm on a journey. Send me some research on it and documents that prove that my monitor is garbage, and I'll look into it. And he never did. He was a complete dick about it. You know, he was young. I'm not saying it was German size, but he was a confident lad and came up. And he made a big pronouncement. And everyone stood around like, is he nuts? But I got it. I totally got it. Right. I understand his point of view, but it was just that because it didn't have this completely esoteric feature, whole monitor was garbage. That was what made me laugh. So I stuck it in the manual. But it is something we're looking into for down the road. Now, if you can afford to sell me a kidney, right, we're probably going to get something like that. Well, that is one of the goals for the future. And I've got a whole load of things that we want to do. There's lots of stuff we want to do, but we have to start the ball rolling and make them. As I've always said, we'll make them on it for 95% of people. Okay, I can't please everyone. But for 95% of people, a reasonable price, and so they like it. And my products are done without, people like the things I've made, okay? And I want to continue that. But you have to be realistic about this. So when I do the video about, look at these wonderful features, right at the end's going to be, and this is why you don't want to buy it. And shoot down in flames anyone who wants to do a review and slag me off for it. Well, it's in the back of the video. It's in the promotional video. So we can put that in there. You know, we're going to work on that, but there's certain things you have to go with crap panels to solve that, and you know IPS is brilliant, okay, gives a beautiful view, but it's not perfect, you know. Anyway, so did a load more come in? Yeah, there were other accounts. Yeah, the 2 other accounts with Sarah. Good night, amazing. Like black frame insertion, pretty much, yeah. But they call it strobe backlighting. Yeah, to turn the backlight off and on, off and on. There is I actually include a link to the subject in the manual, so you can read up on it. It is a thing. It really is. You just have to convince some Japanese factories to start making brand new traditional troops. Yeah, I know. I'm German happy. And I don't think you like CRTs either. I've already mentioned Pandora. Next up, panel manufacturing. No, maybe not. PCB doesn't. Oh, no, fun style. You can get the ball rolling, colour cycling. The Airbus drivers for V2 system are only working on NVIDIA chipset. The ones that yes. My boards, I've bought a few boards that have got NVIDIA on the motherboard. So come on, Tasha, I've got motherboards. If you look at it, right, I think I turned it off now because I've got no cases, right? I've got no cases coming in. Of course, Sarah, if if it's true, I've got one packed up, a white one actually for posterity in my loft, brand new. I'll send you that one. But it does need NVIDIA or Intel GMA, yeah. But the NVIDIA one is the best one. But I've got some motherboards with it built on board, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And I've shared the model number so you can get them from AliExpress with and you just stick on like a dual core Athlon for about a tenner. It only uses 1 core, but it'll run like 2.5 gigahertz. It's amazing. So actually, AWOS is just wonderful. There should have been a Trinitron Amiga one. Yeah, probably. Right, I'm going. The product there is on page. It's on pre-order. Yeah, it is there. Yeah. I'm gonna go and probably get an email from Sarah Chamberlain tomorrow. Because the name, funny enough, the name does ring a bell. But I thought it was I had a Todd Chamberlain. But I did search for Chamberlain. I couldn't find it. So it's one of those things. It's thrown in as like, I've forgotten it. But you heard it here. If she's right and I have let her down, then she'll get a refund and I'll send the product out. But anyway, enough of that. Right, okay, thanks so much, guys. I will speak to you soon. I've got to find the end stream button. Here it is, look. See? Got it. And we're going to end in 3, 2, 1. Bye. Thanks a lot.